Here we have an LG 5K monitor that came in for repair. The USB-C connector is damaged, as we were told by the customer. Customer is local. And we told the customer there's a 40-60% chance fixing this port. We just disassembled the board right here, and we're going to be taking a look at the first connector on the bottom. We told the customer we may have to borrow a connector from the top here if this connector is damaged. So that's what we're going to be doing. Let's inspect the connector and see what's going on. We've got in those boards where all the pads under the connector were ripped off, and it's a non-practical job to fix all the pads under the connector. They are very, very close to each other. I mean, you can tell by those traces. Look at the traces down on the bottom. That's how far pads are from each other. You're talking about maybe 0.1 millimeter, 0.2 millimeter distance between the pads. And just imagine you have a lot of ripped pads and you have to run all the wires, all the microscopic wires. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have 5, 6, 7, 8, a lot. It's not practical or economical to work on such a problem. And that's why we give it a 4060, because most of the LG monitors that we got in, they had a lot of ripped pads. Now this one here, I see damage onto the USB-C connector, and that's a good thing, because we can borrow a USB-C connector from any one of those. And we told the customer that we're going to be borrowing a connector if the port is damaged. And we're going to solder it back on here and test. So since we see damage on the connector itself, let's go ahead and remove the connector. And then we can inspect the pads under it. Nice. We do not have any ripped pads based on what I can tell. Awesome. Let's go ahead and tint the pads, and maybe we can get rid of the glare also. All right, so now that we tinned all the pads, let's go ahead and grab another port from the board. And I'm not going to apply heat from the top. I'm going to apply heat from the bottom, so we do not damage the connector that we are trying to remove. Otherwise, what's the point? So right now I have the board at the edge of my bench, and I'm going to point my hot air station under the board, under the connector. But let me make sure there are no plastic connectors under the board. We do have some plastic connectors, not nearby, a bit far, but I'm gonna add Captain tape. And let's do it. I added some Captain tape. Okay, we applied a lot of heat from the bottom, and now we can just do it from the top to speed up the process. I'm not pointing hot air at the connector, just on the sides. And now back to the bottom. Done. Beautiful. Let's go back right here. And now we're going to apply hot air from the top until we see solder liquefy, and then we're going to insert the connector. Let's apply some flux and go over this one more time. Quick. And we should be all good. And look at the pins inside. We can tell that every pin is soldered on nicely. Let me see if we can get inside so we can at least touch on one of the pins. Solid. Solid. Wow. And look at the joints right here and right here. I'm zoomed in a lot and the board is tilted, so it's really hard to keep the board stable while inspecting, but you can tell the pins are all solid. And if we check the other side, if possible, let's see. Just take a look at those pins and tell me those pins are not better than factory. Solid. And I cannot reach those pins. Or maybe I can. Yes. Yes. And now we can remove Captain tape. And the Mailman is here. I'll be back. And the board is clean. Hal. هذا it's done. So assemble it and we can test it. حطوا ركبه وبعدين نشوفه. And Big Boss just informed me that somebody mailed over 2 tumblers with a note. Let's take a look at the tumblers and then we can read the note. Or maybe we can read the note and then go over the tumblers. Let's see. Dear Alex, I want to thank you for your honesty, knowledge, and comical point of view. Enclosed is a gift for you and Big Boss. I had my mom make them for y'all. I have bought several items from y'all and still have my eye on the anti-glare light. Also, can you recommend a hot tweezer set that has quick change tips? Thanks again, Josh Looney. Thank you, Josh. Thank you for the nice note and for the tumblers. Let's take a look at tumbler number 1. Wow, it says Big Boss, NorthridgeFix logo, and then you have, just a second, 1 minute. Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
Yeah, I got a question for you.
Yes.
My iPad, 5th generation, the glass, I think. Right?
Glass is broken. Does it turn on? Do you see an image on the screen?
Everything is good and everything.
Okay, so tumbler number 1 says Big Boss, the NorthridgeFix logo, and it's meant for hot and cold. I love it. And the customer made the graphics of a laptop that's been taken off in parts, and he has arrows to what that part is. Bezel, hinges, keyboard, palm rest, CPU, RAM, hard drive, and the same goes here. And on the bottom, boss of all bosses. Let's take a look at mine. It's gonna look more amazing. And then we're gonna fight, me and Big Boss, who's gonna take which one. He's gonna take boss of all bosses, of course, because he is. And tumbler number 2. Hashtag Hiroshima, better than factory. And it says Alex and the NorthridgeFix logo. Wow. And then you have the circuit board background. Very thoughtful. Very thoughtful, and I love it. Thank you very much, Josh. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the tumblers. They look amazing, and your mom did a great job. Josh did mention that his mother is the one who made the tumblers, and she did an absolutely amazing job. Alright, so as you have seen, we're not going to be able to test the monitor because the cable that came with the monitor, the Thunderbolt cable, is bent. And we need the same cable to be able to test. We cannot just use any USB-C cable. Look at this. You see how that cable is bent? And if we look inside the cable, you'll see this. The cable is not even from the inside, and the cable is most likely not making a good connection with the port that we soldered on. So we need a new cable in order to test it. And I went to read more about the LG 5K monitor, and they did mention that we have to use the same cable, and there are specific devices that we can use this monitor on. I did have a 12.9 5th gen iPad, and we were not able to get a signal even though the iPad was taking a charge, but no signal, and that's because the cable that we have is damaged. So it looks like we cannot use this monitor on any other device beside the list that we just looked at. And if we look here, looking at the specs of the LG 5K display and the accessories cable it comes with, you can't just use any plain USB 3 cable. You need a Thunderbolt 3 active cable. Thunderbolt 1 and 2 natively were active, meaning power was required to operate properly. So we're going to let the customer know that his cable is not good. We need another cable, and we do not have that cable in the shop here. That's a special cable that we do not have. And I'm almost 99% sure the monitor will work when we get the new cable. There's no reason why that monitor would not work. The connector is soldered on perfectly, and the pins are making a good connection. So we'll let the customer know, and we're going to end the video right here. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Leave it down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll do something else in the next video.